Good evening.
Woo!
Well, hello, Vested community. Tis a Thursday.
Coach G, what's up, baby?
I'm excited because tonight we get to share part of who I am and how I became to be with special people. There is a family that I've known for quite some time now, since back when I was in high school, that has been unconditional support and love to me in my pursuits. But why I wanted to bring them on today was a little different. Jamar, family matters. Let's talk about that.
It does. Yeah, it does, baby.
Tell me why. What do you think about family mattering?
You know, you think about it. We don't get to choose our family, right? We can choose our friends. We can choose our business partners, our associates. We can choose our life partner. But our family, we don't get to choose our family. So there's already this special bond there with these people that come from the same, right, DNA, bloodstream, bloodline.
Sometimes
I think it's just it doesn't mean there's not family drama. Here's the thing. Every family has drama. I don't care whose family it is. Every family has some degree of drama. That's just part of the family dynamic. But family bond is very, very, very important. And especially when you have a family that comes together, that even makes the bond even stronger, because not every family does come together. So, man, I'm glad we got this topic today. I'm excited to meet this amazing family, and everything you told me about them. I'm looking forward to connecting with them and learning and sharing their vibration with the Vested community, man.
Well, one of the things that this episode is about is their recipe for success, because like you just said, I mean, you would think that a family does this, or there's this stereotypical, and some people fall in line with that. I mean, that's the average mean, but life gets going, man, and it's complicated. And this show in particular is about what to do when that happens, where it starts, how to inspire, create, and empower. So we have three different people. We have a father, a son, and a daughter. I think the first section, we will start off with speaking with Mr. Paul Sheppard. I don't want to get too much into his career, which is pretty impressive, and so is his background education-wise. But he is just a special individual. So maybe we could drop down that No, let's inspire first.
Hey, Coach G, I got a question though.
Yeah, let's ask a question.
Can you just give us a little background though on how you've been in this family's life and they've been in your life? How did you get to this point with that relationship?
Okay, I went to Santa Margarita High School and I played football and baseball. And I was lucky enough to be on a handful of really good teams with some really good coaches, and they were able to help me maximize my talents, and I was pretty successful as well. So in doing so, you generate a support system, and everybody wants to think that it's your friends and family, but it goes beyond that. You have the coaches, you have the friends, you have the other people that you touch and influence that you might not even know. And there are just some people out there that there's a magnetic bond. And this family, not just Paul, but Paul's whole family, they're just special. And even after high school, somehow we stayed together. I know my brother played football with Scott, but I don't know. This whole family has been very special to me. And I think this is a good segue, because Paul himself has been an inspirational figure in my life.
Awesome.
Let's bring on Paul, Mr. Inspirational.
I love it.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me. This is unbelievable.
Paul, what's up, brother?
It's this is a really cool thing. I read your website about, the big three items there about inspire and create, and it's just great stuff you're doing. I think it's pretty awesome.
Man.
Well, we have to start here with the legend of Paul Sheppard.
But I'm going to say it's great to be here. Great to be here, not good to be here. Normally, it's good to be here.
Come on, there we go. There we go, Paul. Let's raise it up a little bit, brother.
Paul, if you don't mind, I'd like to go way back. Let's start with who you are and when you started defining that. So we're on this show tonight to highlight why family matters, but it's got to start with a thought, a feeling, an emotion. And at one point, you made a decision. And I want to hear about that. Was it a high school thing, a college thing? Was it something you aspired to be? Did you fall out of one thing to end up in another thing? Talk to me, Paul.
You know, when it comes to born and raised in Indianapolis, you know, a long time ago, and parents without a lot of money, but lots of laughter in my home. You know, I always say that I won the genetic lottery because my mom and dad were super cool. My mom was tough as nails, like one of those really tough, hard-hitting persons. And my dad was pretty much the same way until about high school. And then he became our best little buddy, you know, and, but I think I learned more. Well, both of them were amazing, but my mom was amazing about discipline, you know, and I think I was inspired by her because she used to say, you need to do something each day, maybe two things each day that you don't want to do, but do it with a smile. And I'd say, what are you talking about? And she said, whether it's clean the yard or do the dishes or go to practice and hustle and do extra homework. She was a big inspiration to me, you know, in terms of inspiring me, because every time I listened to her formula about these three words, do the work, I always somehow things went really well for me, you know. So wow. It kind of started with my mom, and then my dad, whenever something wouldn't go really well, he was the, you know, the counselor that, hey, Paul, hang in there, keep trying. Whereas my mom was the hard asparagus, as I call it.
Yeah, come on.
Pronounce that first syllable.
Yeah,
she
right.
was hard on me, man, but my dad was super cool. And so I learned almost all of my principles about creating things and being very, very creative by just my mom saying, go for it, try harder, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
that's
so
powerful.
These are the foundational properties, but a true superstar, you have to dig out the accolades. Paul graduated from Harvard and USC. So let's talk a little bit about your engine here, brother. What defines success? Because that's a high bar. So you got mom pushing you, dad supporting you, but at some point you decided that you were going to be a little bit bigger than just all right. What defines success? Because there had to be an individual feeling first, and then you expanded out and got married, had a family, this and that. We'll get to that. But where did you start? My success, my definition of success is similar to what UCLA legendary basketball coach John Wooden used to say, except he said it more articulately than I did. I would always just say, it is doing the very, very, very best you can at what you are supposed to do and having the persistence to stick with it and to help other people while you're doing what you're doing. Success is just not giving up. It is working really hard. Those three words, do the work really hard. And whether it's, you have to have a goal in mind, and the goal would be, you know, to play your best in high school sports, in Pop Warner. My God, I was 8 years old, you know, learned teamwork, hard work, championship type stuff in there. But I think it's just working as hard as you can and setting a worthy goal, a goal that I call it has to be aligned with the proper integrity and the proper, you know, it's got to be a good goal, like a worthy goal, and just try your very, very best
And really, when it comes down to it, success to me is helping somebody today that needs help, that needs inspiration, that needs some influence, some positivity in a very dark, negative. It's a tough world out there. It's not easy. And all of us have problems, challenges, snake bites, bow and arrows in your back. You trip, you fall. But success is trying your very, very best to help other people and to achieve a goal, whether it's alone or with other people.
All right, Paul, tell us about the best decision that you ever made. And be careful, because if you answer right here, you're going to be in a really good position. If you answer wrong, you're in good trouble.
Wait, look who just came up
There
here.
you go. There you go. There she is.
Happened to come home right
So
there.
tell me how the family aspect of that drive, that engine that you had, how that turned into an interpersonal relationship and then a beautiful family.
I got, I'm like Rod Stewart, the singer. Some guys have all the luck. That was his favorite lyric. But in high school, I just kind of tripped into meeting a person named Gigi Scheper, but she was Gigi Rayla back then. So that was very, very lucky. And all because I transferred into a school called Granada Hills High School. And all of a sudden I got lucky, and luck is, in my opinion, it's where that preparation meets opportunity. I was prepared to get rejected by her.
Yeah.
And I asked her out 3 times, and it was no, no, no. But the 4th time, by golly, that's the charm, not the 3rd time. The 4th time's the charm. And finally, she said, okay, we're going to go out. And then it was one date wonder, and that was it. But I was strategic. Here's what I did. I went to the friend zone. It works. It's awesome. friend, because I can handle rejection. As Kamala Harris said yesterday, I eat no for breakfast.
Come on.
So anyway, so we became buddies, and then I went off to college at Harvard, and Gigi, at the time she goes, oh my God, that's over by Palos Verdes, Harbor. She thought it was Harbor Junior College. Not that anything's wrong with that. And then all of a sudden her dad goes, no, that's Harvard. It's Ivy League. He must be smart. I mean, ignore the afro on his head. Ignore the outfits he wears. He's kind of a nerd and a geek, and he's awkward and a little bit shy around girls. But come on, give the guy a shot. And that's how I got the shot.
Man. Hey, real quick, for all the dudes in the vested community, Coach Paul just gave you 2 crucial nuggets there. Number 1, don't stop at no. The second no or the third no. And number 2, who cares what they say about the friend zone? Get after the friend zone.
It worked.
It's a strategy.
It worked for Barry Sanders of the Lions. It was called the head and shoulder fake with ethics.
You got to get it done. So here you are with this. Okay, so why when you came home from Harvard, you got married and had this amazing family? That's how it works. Wide about, not just like that.
Yeah, we got married my senior year at Harvard.
Wow.
I was a football player, baseball player, worked at the library because I needed money, because even though I got a scholarship there, I still had to pay for things, And then afterwards, I got a job in California, interviewed on campus. And then after about 4 years of marriage and life, we lived in Irvine. All of a sudden, there's the sound effect. Scott Sheppard popped out. We got lucky back in 1986 and that's when, there's an old saying, family actually begins when you're married, just husband and wife. That is truly defined as a family. But for me, it didn't hit me until Scott came out. Then 20 months later, Sarah, she had a double pop. That was, because that was a long labor for Gigi, but she came out, and that's when it hit me how gosh darn lucky I am. And then that's when the family unit really began, where we said, you know what? We're going to smile. We're going to live with joy. We're going to try our hardest to be a good influence, make some impact, and influence, and just have some fun, meet people, love life, love people. That's to me, that's family. It's supporting each other. And boy, some of the things growing up.
Hold on. Tech team, bring that picture up real quick. Talk to me about a Paul.
Where'd you get that?
Hey, it was on Instagram, Paul. Come on.
The gram, the IG.
Talk to me about this. Is this what happiness looks like? Is this a Sheppard Christmas? This is how it works?
Yeah, forget Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation. This is Paul Sheppard along with Gigi, Sarah, and Scott, living together and just faking the smiles there.
Paul,
fake it till you make it.
Is it me or were you flexing in that picture?
Listen, Paul, I want to bring you back on with your son or your daughter, but since we're in create mode and we just showed what you created, may as well bring the banner down. The create one.
What's up, brother RT? Love you, man.
Robert.
Whoa, love it.
And Paul, I'm afraid, my friend, this is where you exit, and we're going to bring on your wonderful son, Scott, to talk about some of his accomplishments.
Scott, have fun.
Hey. Love you, Paul.
Thank you, my friend. We'll see you in a bit. Bam.
I'm recovering either from seeing the scowl on my face in that Christmas photo.
So much swagger, man. So much swagger.
That or hearing the sound that apparently I made after I popped out of my my mother, and then there was like a double pop.
Sound effect one.
So I just got done puking a little bit, but I'm good now. All is great and grand. So yes.
Isn't it great to follow Dad? There's been so many times where I've had to get up and speak, and Dad opens it up, and it's he just has this way of I don't know. I think it's a dad skill. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They maintain it throughout life. They find a way to be able to and they're loving you, and they're like, Dad, God.
Yeah, instantly a smile came to my face when he popped on there. I was just laughing, seeing because when you grow up with someone, you can really pick up on the quirks that maybe everyone else isn't used to, and it's funny. He's just so hilarious and authentic, and that was a great segment.
All right, well. We're in the create section now, and since you are your father's first creation, and there's a sound effect, let's start with the books, because your dad writes a book about the ABCs of success, and then you wrote a book as well. So tech team, let's throw these up there. And you actually gave this as a gift to me long before you ever went down the Bitcoin trail and this and that, and I think before your dad's book. So obviously,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I remember we were at Yard House. That's where it was.
Okay. Yes.
Cool.
I in Irvine, the Irvine Spectrum. I think I remember that now. Yep.
So I just wanted to start there because obviously he's an influence in your life. And let's go back to college, right before, you kind of went out and became an entrepreneur. Talk to me about your struggles and your successes. Being raised in an environment with your father, very positive and this and that. You have a foundation to do well. But, we go out into the world and we have our own struggles and our own successes. Tell me a little bit about yours. I know I cheated because I read the book, but let me listen to yours.
And wow, I was not even expecting that or prepared with that. The How to Get Focused book. That was I wrote that when I was, I believe, 24 years old, or 25 actually. And I was moonlighting, meaning I was working a full-time job and would wake up around 5 a.m. and sit down at a desk. I was living in a kind of substandard apartment in Irvine, California, and I would write straight for 2 hours before I went to work for like a 10-hour day at a tech startup. But the backstory, you asked the struggles, and mine actually started really early when I was a kid, when I was actually in kindergarten. And I wish my struggles, which I think struggles and hardships in life are reoccurring, and it's almost like we live a life where there's many different movies and like heroes' journeys and stories that we live out almost, it seems like, every 5 years, right? And mine started really early, I guess, when I was in kindergarten, and was labeled, my first hero's journey, was when I was labeled a class clown in kindergarten, and, had ADHD. And, I guess I would, the old phrase that I was conditioned to actually do was to think and then feel and then react. And I guess I just came out of the womb with my default mode was to react and have and then maybe feel and think afterwards, long afterwards. And so I went through this mode very early on in my life where I was prescribed Ritalin, I think in first grade or kindergarten. And, when you're kind of given a label, your identity in this kind of movie that we all kind of live in, the world is almost like a two-layered thing going on. We have the physical world, and there's the metaphysical world going on in the background, right? And in I hope I'm not getting too complex, but the metaphysical world is where we kind of all live and our minds live, and we kind of create stories. So I had created this story for myself up through high school that I was a class clown. I would never go to college. My dad went to Harvard. I was, the black sheep, as you can see from that photo. I couldn't, pose for pictures. And, it was just an identity that I almost, yeah, exactly. And it was hilarious. And I took it on. I lived it on. I believed, and it was ingrained in me and reinforced by teachers, by friends, classmates, everyone around me, that the expectations were, hey, you are the class clown in this metaphysical story, which is, which can be changed, right? And so I always felt and thought that I could not, and I was just one of those people that was born without the cognitive ability to focus. And I went through a journey, a transformation experience in college where I became obsessed, almost like the villains of my story became the teachers that told me I would never go to college. And I self-taught myself, and later on learned through personal development books actually how to do it. I wish I started with personal development books, but I learned how to focus, how to succeed in school. I ended up absolutely dominating when I went to four-year college, small four-year liberal arts college in Orange County called Chapman University. And I graduated with a 3.71 GPA, magna cum laude. It was kind of like my reset button to go to college and actually start and create this new identity and really kind of challenge myself. And so that book I wrote about 2 years after I graduated college, maybe around 2010, to kind of capture the lessons and the transformation experience of that first hero's journey, in my life. And then, another hero's journey starts, which is, okay, you've graduated college, you've beat the system and the expectations and gotten good grades. Now, guess what? You're flat out broke, and the grades in college doesn't matter. How are you actually going to succeed in this world? And then you start the next hero's journey, the next one. And then you really learn about, I guess, what the theme of this segment is how to actually create. And
Scott, if I can real quick, I want to jump in. There's a good chance that there's something that you were not aware of about yourself. And it was all the way back in that picture when you were at Christmas. Okay, so you thought that it might have been an odd thing, but what you didn't realize is that was you holding your gangster face out going, like, that's what's up. People just don't understand me yet.
Yeah.
So what people don't understand about this amazing person that you're looking at right now is he got himself into a very interesting profession. Okay. And as everybody's scrambling right now to try to wonder what to do with their life, those that were able to capture themselves from the madness of who they weren't and figure out who they were and set their foot down and decide to accomplish something, when the world goes into chaos, they don't have to worry because they have something to focus on, a passion, an opportunity, and a creation that they can be proud about. My friend, tell us about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I guess, I got into Bitcoin really early on actually I remember reading about it in 2009, 2010, and going to the website. The website looked like it had some cartoon figures on it. I was like, what is this? I'll keep an eye on it. I did get into Bitcoin in 2013, right? I think around December 2013, they had some issues with China. I think China banned them around that time. It was like $300. Bitcoin was. So I had been, I got fortunate in that I, got in really, really early. Though, it's easy and like the fun label and story. The best label and story is I wish I was one of those people that loaded up and bought, 500 Bitcoin when it was, $1. That wasn't the case. I've actually made more money and had on investing in 2 stocks right around then. I had a financial advisor who wanted to from Chase, and he recommended that I just basically give my money to him. He'll invest it in safe funds, and I said, no. Here's what we're doing. I'm going to take all of this money. I'm going to put it in, which is the money is from a maxed out SEP IRA, which is if you're a self-employed business person, you can take I think up to like $52,000. And don't have to pay taxes on it. Instead of paying taxes on it, you can put it in a retirement account, and you have to leave it there till you're 65 years old. I put it on 2 stocks. One was Amazon and one was Google, and I kept each year over and over compiling it up over and over. And Amazon was $373 when I started doing that. Today it's like $3,100 last time I checked. So Bitcoin, tech stocks, I call them GAFA, got in, very, very, very early. But I think really the more pertinent thing, the actual thing that I created that allowed me to acquire the capital to actually invest in Bitcoin or Amazon was a long, hard journey of learning performance advertising. And that is where you advertise and market through buying ads and using like Google AdWords and Facebook ads and a ton of data and number crunching and programming. I self-taught myself Python, programming, JavaScript, C++, all of that stuff, right? And that's actually what allowed me to get to that point and acquire those funds. But the paradox of actually how I acquired those funds was interesting. It did not come from chasing the goal or setting out the goal of having an outcome-based goal. The paradox, and I learned the hard way. I worked barely made any money. By barely made any money, I mean like I was scraping by on $35,000 a year was my first year out of college making money at a startup, right? Just which did not feel good when your friends and peers were going on to the big 4 accounting firms and making twice as much as you, right? And the paradox came from actually in my goal, at the time, at the beginning of my entrepreneur journey, was outcome based. It was, hey, I want to make as much money as possible, aka which is kind of hilarious because most of the times we don't even set a real figure on it. We just say, I want to make as much as possible so that I can have freedom. And what is freedom? Freedom is basically the ability to not have to always play the video in the back of your mind of how am I going to pay rent this month or how am I going to pay rent in 3 months, right? That is what I wanted. However, I never got there by focusing on that goal. I got there by focusing on what I call my craft, the creation, the process. And that was to wake up every single day and create for the sake of creating, not create for the sake of actually achieving like the output, but create for the sake of the process, like viewing advertising stats and setting up and creating and launching new campaigns, new tests, new website tests, new testing of an ad, new testing of a headline. Hey, does buy one, get one free work better than like buy two and get the third one 50% off? Doing that every single day, not caring about the result, but the reward is actually the process of doing that so that I can view the data and like that's the reward. So I think that is an important point. And it's kind of almost like you discover these paradoxes as you go through life where kind of like what the Beatles say, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, right? It's like the more you give, the more you get. Well, the more money you will make is based on the more value you actually create. And if you just focus on the creation, giving value and getting better at your craft, like the money will follow. And it's even better because the thing that every single other person wants is the outcome, is the reward. They're driven by it. You can kind of tell. If you say, I don't give a shit about the reward, I'm going to wake up and like my craft today is copywriting and writing. Like I wake up every single day and I make sure that I write. Even if I start and my writing is, hey, I'm writing and I don't feel like freaking writing and I suck right now and I'm tired and my nose is, groggy and I'm not going to write anymore. So go F yourself, right? That is creating, and that is my reward. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about the outcome. That is the reward. So,
well, listen, man, I'm starting to see a trend between your father's engine and your engine, and it's empowering, and it definitely transitioned us into our next section. So we're going to bring you and your dad back on once we talk to your sister a little bit, and then you guys can go ahead and fire at each other because there's a lot that you guys have in common, and I have a couple of questions that'll kind of tie you guys together, and I'll see, let you go at it. So, can we do the empower thing right
Thank
quick?
you, brother.
And hey, Jamar, before we go on, what do you think of these guys, man?
Oh man,
cool,
great
man.
family. I appreciate attitude. I'm an attitude and energy guy, and so the first thing you see with Paul coming on is his energy and vibration, is his positive attitude, right? And you see his son Scott, and you feel his positivity and his attitude as well. So for me, like that's what I appreciate, right? That because that's the intangible. You can't make someone have a positive attitude. You can't make someone have a higher vibration with their energy. It's one of those things that only can come from self. So when I see that from other people, man, that's what gets me excited. And this family definitely, that's one of their secret ingredients in their recipe.
Yeah, man, you can see it too. Like Paul is an inspirational person, and you could just literally see how the inspiration just went right into everything about the way Scott does things. But anyway, let's move on into meeting the lady of the family, or one of them.
Awesome.
And hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hi.
Sarah,
So,
hey.
I would say the best for last. We got the guys on first, and you saw. I set your dad up. Like if he didn't do it right, he was going to be in big trouble. And then boom, your mom pops in, and she's there to make sure that that's it. You see the smiling man's face, but if it were for moms, the wheels will fall. So
yeah,
girl, you are a successful real estate agent.
Sure.
But what's that?
Oh.
Well,
I was saying I love the family picture. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I've known you guys for a long time, so I don't know if I've known you that long, but like maybe. But so let's wind it back a little bit. Okay, so you grew up with these two very alpha, high engine guys. You have all this awesome influence. Your mom is a very special person as well, but you're the youngest. I mean, you're looking up and you go away to school and take it away. What happens from there?
With me growing up?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you can see, like my parents are amazing, and growing up with my brother, me and Scotty are very close now, but it was kind of hard. I feel like a lot of the attention was on him with like school and stuff like that. And so I always was like a really good kid, and I tried to just do everything right and kind of like be perfect. And then high school, I went to Santa Margarita for like a little bit, and then I ended up transferring to Tesoro, and I did cheerleading and tried to always get really good grades. School was kind of difficult for me too, though. I had to like study extra hard. And when I went off to college, I was just like, I went to Colorado State, and I was just like, I'm having fun. Like, I just want to, you know, because like I always tried to be just doing everything right and making my parents proud. And so when I went to college, like I just had a lot of fun and like quickly learned, like, for me, I don't drink alcohol or like do anything. And so when I was in college, like I kind of learned and had to go through that where like I figured out like drinking just didn't do anything positive for me. And so I recently just got like 10 years sober, like no drinking, anything like that. Thank you. And like that's been really cool. I think that's like one of the things that really got me to be successful in real estate, because as like a 21-year-old, like to just decide to like stop drinking and all that, it was tough at first. And then it just like so many good things happened, and I was able to like get some success as a young real estate agent. And then from then on, I was like, well, real estate can't be that hard, because I stopped like drinking and all that like really young. Also like got through, like I said, I was a cheerleader in high school, and I just always felt like I needed to be perfect and really skinny. So I struggled with like just like not eating, and like I had an eating disorder growing up in high school. And so I got through that too. And so getting through those difficulties like early in life really set me up to like have tools and have just have the ability to get past other challenges that come in life, because life always has stuff that's difficult that happens. And so like being able to move through those challenges and like be able to do it with like help from other people, and then in return help other people struggling, just ended up being such a huge gift, and like really got me to just to be able to be successful in other areas of my life, especially with real estate. So
Sarah, so well, you have these two alpha inspiring creating guys, right? And they're incredible people. But what I heard from you was that being this youngest girl with all of this, maybe it was outside expectation or internal expectation. I mean, you could hear it kind of behind what Scott said, that, you know, Pops went to Harvard and he's this very successful person. It creates a bar, right? So when you went off to school, what did you want? And if you didn't know then, how did you fall into it? Because this show is about a vulnerability, and a lot of us are really struggling right now because we didn't put in, you know, the right order or the right types of things, or maybe we didn't know how. And as we scramble, as life gets hard, we're starting to develop this. So my question is really rooted in, like, how did you go from not knowing to becoming?
Well, I think, I don't know, something that like recently I've been really kind of like learning about and kind of, I've been reading this book by Byron Katie called The Work, and that's helped me a lot, because I feel like my first thoughts tend to be wrong, and then I can create these stories around them and like get into a place that doesn't really like serve me. And so lately I've been kind of looking at my thoughts and like, because I remember like in college, I'd be like, my thoughts might be like, oh, you need to be skinnier. And if I could go back and like look at those thoughts, like, was that true? No, it wasn't true. And my parents always raised me like that. I was perfect the way I was. Like, it had nothing to do with them. It was like, I just always had these like really high expectations of myself, I think. And I would just tell myself stories that I needed A, B, and C to be successful, or I had to do amazing in school to be successful in life. And like, I would just create a lot of stories around situations or just like who I was and where I was at. And looking back, it's like those first thoughts weren't true. And if I could go back and like kind of look at what the truth was, and then I've had to kind of a lot of, especially like with addictions and stuff like that, for me, it's about like looking at it in a different way and kind of like reframing my thoughts and really diving into like what my thoughts are, what is the truth, and then just like knowing that like I'm right exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment. And how do I know that? Because that's where I'm at, and like that's where God has me in the moment. So like those kind of things have been, especially like recently with everything like going on in the world, and just like because I did do the reality show and everything's like on hold.
I wanted to talk to you about that because you just brought up some serious things that you've worked through in your life, and all of those things, in order for you to be able to accomplish what you've accomplished up to this point, you'd have to do internally. Now, you go on to a reality television show where everybody, all they see is the external. How do you manage that? How do you deal with that?
I remember moving to LA, and my goal, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like $1 million listing. And then I got contacted by some people, and they're like, hey, we have this idea. It's kind of like a show that's like kind of Cribs meets $1 Million Listing. It was it's on VH1. And anyway, so I'm like, cool, it's a real estate show, we're showing houses. And then, like with a lot of reality shows, like they love drama. And so when I did that show, like there's some interesting characters, people that like in real life I'd probably just be like, wish you the best, I'll never talk to you again kind of thing. And so, but it actually ended up being a really good experience. And I look back and I'm like, okay, yeah, I was meant to go through that, because I just really had to grow a lot. And instead of like getting angry at other people or not wanting them to act a certain way, like the only thing I could control was my reaction and my thoughts around it. And then I had to like really look at my part in situations, and then just like not work hard to like not let other people's stuff affect me. Like a lot of the times, like when people are acting a certain way or just like lashing out, it's a total reflection on how they feel about themselves. So I had to like learn to deal with different personalities, which was really good for me, because in the past I would just like ignore it or like block people and never talk to them again, and I didn't have that option. So like and mostly like everyone on the show was great, but some personalities were just difficult for everyone to deal with. So
Jamar, I gotta ask a personal question before we bring the guys on. Hopefully you guys don't mind. What were your thoughts and actions about my brother? I mean, I thought you were gonna be a minute. Something happened, he blew it. I don't know, it was his fault, I know.
Who? Your brother? My
brother. Yeah. Sarah Sheppard was like, hey, girl, Devin. I know. It's just bad.
You have like 4 brothers.
Yeah, you could have picked one of them.
I don't
So
know.
speaking of brothers, let's bring your brother on. Let's bring your dad on, and Jamar, we gotta. This is the first time we've had 3 people on at the same time, so you're gonna have to bear with us. Let's see how it happens. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, let's pop him in. Dad, what's up, man? Oh, awesome.
There we go. Nice.
I think Sarah was hoping that you would bring on a hidden special guest and Devin Minna on.
You know what's awesome is that she was
Jerry
like,
Springer.
What? You have brothers? Like,
Yeah.
you have a bunch, don't you? Oh, hey girl, you're not where you're at on accident. Very PC of you.
Wow. Well, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for investing time, with the Vested community and bringing your vibration and sharing. And for me, this is the recap that I got. I got from Paul, from Mama Scheper, is do the work, right? That's the foundation that was ingrained, because everything you guys all talked about, it was about doing the work, and what Brother Scott talked about, he touched on the metaphysical realm, right? How we can create these stories and these illusions and have these limiting beliefs, things that are not even real, but we're creating that image of self, right? And then Sarah bringing the power home, talking about the battlefield of the mind and really capturing the thought and having the inventory of the thought and being aware of those thoughts. Are they serving us? Are they creating this reality that doesn't even exist? Are they defeating us before we even take ground? And being aware and recognizing that those thoughts may not always be a thought that's going to create what we want to create. So for me, I got so much value just from you guys all talking and sharing just your real life perspective. But I have a question for you guys. This is very evident that you guys all are successful in your own way and you're striving for that. But for Sarah and Scott, what have you learned from your dad and that has brought you to this point? Like, if there's one thing that you learned from your dad to hit to this stage of your life, like what would that be? I'll start with you, Scott.
I've learned a lot of things. I think what Damien said when introducing my dad and our family, and what I've picked up on is Damien said and mentioned over and over, like the love, and it comes from the unconditional love and giving. And I have been a very, very, very lucky. I've won the ovarian lottery in that department, right?
Woo! The ovarian lottery, Vested community.
Yes.
The ovarian lottery is a real thing.
Yeah. I have been given the most love by my dad is all about giving and love. And by the way, when a lot of people say love, but I don't actually like to use the word love. I like to use the word give, because that's what love is. It's about giving, right? And I have learned through observing my dad growing up. He is constantly cleaning the dishes and doing acts of service for my mom, like even today when I come over, and is always giving, which is resonated with me. It's really, I've kind of gone through a change. I'm 34 now. When I wrote that book, I was around 24, and my goals are completely different. My goals are now completely centered around giving. I've discovered that chasing money is just a tool where you can either be more miserable, or you can actually use that as a tool to better humanity and to give and to help others. So I think the thing that I've learned from my dad is to give. And I had to kind of learn that hard way myself. But now that I've had to actually learn the hard way, that really life is all about contribution and giving, right. Which basically that's what you guys are doing. Like the purpose of what you guys are on the same journey as me, and my dad and my sister is about kind of getting an orientation on the world, the negativity, the victimhood, and putting it aside and choosing optimism every day and choosing to give your life energy, which is all we have. It is a finite source. And that's what money is too. It's like you guys are giving life energy, which is the same as money, every single day, to perhaps someday reach someone on YouTube or somewhere that's going to be at a low point in victimhood. And you guys are going to be that one spark that gets them on the path to momentum, because it's all about movement over meditation. It's all about actually taking even just the smallest step in writing. Like for me, it's writing. It's like writing when you have writer's block, right? But yeah, giving. And so you guys are on the same kind of path that my dad instilled in me. And so,
wow. Thank you.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like I've gone on tangents here, so sorry about that, guys.
No. You got
what you have to say is organic.
Give.
On my
That's it. Give. You think about it. You Sarah, you mentioned God, and Damien and I are both believers, but we love everyone. We welcome everyone. We're not judges here, but my foundation is standing on the word. And you think about that message is God wants us to give, right? He wants us to love others. He wants us to serve, to be servant transformational leaders. The greatest and the way to achieve the greatest level of leadership is by serving other people and by giving. So I really appreciate that, brother, what you said. And for Sarah, for you, what one thing your takeaway from dad, and we're going to talk about mom real quick too. So we're going to go there, but real quick, what takeaway from dad is what brought you to this trajectory in your life?
I think with my dad, like one of the best, he's taught me like so many things, but a huge one would be like never giving up. Like he never gives up on me ever. And so, like in all areas of my life, like I just never give up and I just keep trying. And, another thing that goes with that is helping others. Like, he's always taught me to give back, help others, like especially with real estate. When I go into real estate with like God is my employer and I'm here to serve and help because I am good at what I do with selling houses and I have knowledge and have worked hard for a long time. I do so much better when I go into it like looking at it as I'm just here to help somebody else. I'm here to help them buy and sell a home that they're going to be happy in. And I see a lot of people in the industry when they're like, oh, the commissions are great and I want to sell this house so I can have, show everyone I sold 20 million. It's like, it's not the same. Like when you go into things like, I genuinely want to help. And that's like how my dad's always been. Like he just wants to help. Like he always does the right thing. He has so much integrity and honesty. And like his end goal isn't to be like, look at me, I'm so amazing. His end goal is just always to help and to be of service. And so that's something that I've really taken away.
And that's very powerful because in our business, we talk about mission before commission. Right? Mission before commission. Doesn't matter what your business is. In business, you're serving other people, right? That's just how the business dynamic is. But when you chase the commission, the mission doesn't have to follow. But when you chase the mission and you lead with the mission, commission has no choice. It has to follow. So money must follow value, but value does not have to follow money. And so that's when you understand it. And it sounds like you understand that. And for you, Dad, I'm a dad myself. I got a son, he's 3, and my daughter is going on 11 this year. And I learned so much from my children. What are 1 or 2 things that you've learned from your amazing child assets, Scott and Sarah?
Well, I'll start with Sarah. I think Sarah is, I've learned from her, she kind of lives and reminds me of Maya Angelou, who once said that people will forget what you say and they're going to forget what you do, but they're never going to forget the way you make them feel. Sarah makes people feel so good about life and about just breathing, and just being happy. And the feeling that she gives, and that's what I've learned from her, is that Sarah has this gift with her friends. My God, she went to like 6 high school proms. It's crazy. Like people, she's a magnet. But she does it not to be popular, but she does it because she's just nice. she's a nice person who makes people feel good about themselves. So I think I've taken that from Sarah. And also the other two is she's a determined and very disciplined worker. You know, that's what I've learned from her, is that she sticks to it, you know, like, and she is not afraid of in my book, I have a book called The Psychology of Improvement, where I take each letter in the alphabet, A through Z, and each letter, A for attitude, you know, and C is for commitment, D for discipline, but M is mistake. And one thing that Sarah and all of us, myself too, I make lots of mistakes, but mistakes are good. You learn from it, you grow from it, and you don't quit.
Right.
You know, you just don't quit. So that's overall, though, for Sarah, it's that feeling, that vibe she gives people. And she's got a blood type called B positive. I mean, that's Sarah. That's Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. Real thing.
Hey, Paul, I don't want to cut you off, but I can't have Scott cutting off his ear or something like that, man, because you didn't get to him. We're running out of time.
Okay.
I don't need it. That's fine.
Scott Sheppard, what I've learned from him, persistence and intelligence, because he's so freaking smart. That's what I've learned from him.
Well, we know, you know, I can already tell.
My ear off tonight.
Mama Gigi's with the crown jewel of the family, right? So we just want to make sure that we always honor, magnify, right, the woman that holds it together. Because if you have any amazing family, you look at the foundation, right? It's mom. There's always a mom that's there holding the fort down, right?
Yep. And Scott is an SOB, a son of a beauty.
Come on. Beauty. No,
Jamar,
thank you guys so much.
I gotta selfishly ask something.
We appreciate you guys.
I need a moment, because superstars don't do this, and I need this for me, and I need this for Paul. Paul, this is an incredibly, incredibly empowering success story. I'm very inspired about what you've created. I need you to just take a deep breath and feel it. Dude, thank you. Thank you so much. Scott, Sarah, thanks.
Honored to be here. Thank you guys for doing this.
We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for doing being on this journey of giving and
absolutely,
you know, contributing.
Absolutely. Wow.
Jamar,
Coach D,
wrap it up and ask a question.
Hey, you know, Vested community, we're here just like this amazing family talked about today. They're all shining light in their own way. And that's always the message here at the Vested community. Doesn't matter what you're doing out there, you know, be a leader, encourage people, praise people, recognize people, inspire, create amazing things, empower other people. You know, that's the power that we all have. We have an internal light source inside of us that will shine forever. And in the world we live in today, just like Brother Paul said, it's a dark world out there. It's a negative world out there, but no amount of darkness can ever supersede light. So just remember that as you go and embark on your journey. And no matter what, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you do, I got a question for you. Are you vested?